Matt Johnson is absolutely cooking right now. Earlier this year, I loved his completely unhinged Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. And now with A24's Tony, he somehow followed that with this warm, funny, beautifully shot origin story of Anthony Bourdain. And this one gets a big thumbs up from me. A throwback to 1970s cinema filmmaking. We are introduced to him as a 19-year-old who is finding his way and frankly is kind of an asshole in life. He ditches his family in New Jersey to take the summer to chase a girl he met in a bar to P-Town, otherwise known as Provincetown, Massachusetts, in the summer of 1975. This is basically ground zero for the Anthony Bourdain we'd eventually meet in his book, Kitchen Confidential. A young Bourdain gets his first real taste of working in the kitchen in a Cape Cod tourist joint, the Flagship, where the cooks rule this dive of a restaurant, drink like pirates, raised hell after hours, and somehow carry themselves with enough swagger to make the chaos look cool. Dominic Sessa, who was terrific in The Holdovers, absolutely embodies young Tony. He's lanky, cocky, unlikable at times, but curious and frequently full of shit. And you can already see little flashes of the guy who would eventually become Anthony Bourdain. Not the celebrity chef, not the world traveler, just a restless guy who hasn't figured out what he wants yet, until somebody sticks him in a restaurant kitchen. And that's what I really loved about the movie. This isn't some Wikipedia biopic marching through every famous moment of Bourdain's life. It's about discovering the thing that lights the fuse and molds you into who you are. The heat, the noise, the personalities, the crazy kitchen warriors and culinary ninjas, the controlled chaos of restaurant culture. Basically, finding your tribe behind a stove. And this was a tightrope walk for Sessa in playing a pretty unlikable kid with a glimmer of the charming personality starting to emerge. And I appreciated that Sessa did not try to impersonate Bourdain, he just acted naturally. But the MVP of the movie is definitely Antonio Banderas, who is terrific as Ciro, the Brazilian chef and restaurant owner who takes Tony under his wing. He's running the restaurant and has got confidence, quiet wisdom, and the ability to tame the chaos of restaurant challenges. He's exactly the kind of personality you'd expect to seduce somebody into this insane profession. He gives Tony his new name of Flaco as his dishwasher that he lends a hammock on his back porch to crash. I was really impressed with his tender acting, and I won't be surprised if he is nominated for Best Supporting Actor and wins at the Oscars next year. This seems like the exact role to recognize his career in film. The supporting cast is pretty stacked with personalities. Emilia Jones is luminous in the role and continues being somebody worth watching. She is playing Nancy, who is Tony's love interest, and her character would eventually become Bourdain's wife for 20 years in real life. Jones completely stoked memories for me of the 1970s girl that you had for your first crush on. Leo Woodall, who I really liked earlier this year in Tuner, brings great bad boy buddy energy to his role as Sal. He never met a lady or a drug he wouldn't dip into. And Sal brings that rebellious bad influence and self-destruction into Tony's life while shucking oysters on the kitchen line. He's solid again in this movie and really an actor to watch. Finally, you have the raunchy stand-up comedian Stavros Halkias, and he feels like somebody who wandered out of an actual kitchen after a 12-hour shift. He's all mouth dishing it out and handling his duties as line cook with this motley crew. But huge shout out to Matt Johnson, who ditched his trademark guerrilla-styled mockumentary look that I have loved in movies like Blackberry, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, to this beautiful, warm, and intimate cinematography that captures my nostalgia of a time long gone now, when clam bakes were a thing, and real people gathered for communal events like these to talk, eat, and drink together. It was a common activity growing up on the East Coast, and I miss this. The reason the movie looks fantastic is due to Michael Bauman's cinematography. From his sprawling DP work on One Battle After Another to the intimate, beautiful summer cinematography perfectly capturing the 1970s. Great period detail with the clothing, houses, parties, and restaurant scenes. You can practically smell the salt air, cigarette smoke, spilled beer, and whatever somebody just burned on the grill. Blackened food doesn't mean it is burned, and knowing where Bourdain eventually ends up gives the movie this little bittersweet edge underneath all the fun. But Matt Johnson never smothers the story in importance. He lets Tony just be 19, messy, hungry, searching. And slowly, Tony starts recognizing his own faults and owning them. Whether it's those admissions of guilt and regret to Nancy, or ultimately refusing to screw over Chef Ciro with the charity money to rebuild his restaurant. You start seeing him think beyond himself, and little glimpses of the Anthony Bourdain he's eventually going to become. And for me, that's the right recipe for this coming-of-age story. I'm landing at a strong 3.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. A sweet, soulful, intimate little movie with terrific performances, plenty of kitchen chaos, and just enough Bourdain swagger. Matt Johnson is on a serious directing hot streak, and after Tony, just let this guy keep cooking.